It's Tuesday. It's time to move on, but I'm having trouble doing it.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, welcome back into Locked On Bama, AHSA Radio Network's Luke Robinson, that's me. Alabama internet legend Jimmy Stein, that's him. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. We'll talk about FanDuel here in just a little bit. I want to thank you every day for being here every day. Thank you, newbies, for being here today, and thanks to everybody for making this your first listen every single day. You guys are the best. Jimmy, let's start off with DeBoer and company had their press conference yesterday, and it went about as I'm not going to say as poorly as can be, but it didn't help anything. I think the fan base, me in particular, would have preferred it was more, hey, we let everybody down, and we've got to get this turned around. We let ourselves down. You know, we've had to do a little soul searching these last 48 hours, and we're going to get it turned around one way or the other. I would have liked to have heard something like that.
Yeah, a little more. You know, I'm not. I don't ascribe to the you need fire and brimstone. I think if you make it too simple when you don't think the coach is taking it seriously enough unless he's yelling. Phil Jackson is the greatest NBA coach of all time, perhaps. I don't think the guy has ever yelled in his life. You don't have to scream at the world or your players to be a good coach. That's not true. And I don't think DeBoer needs to change his personality to fit more of what Alabama fans have in mind in terms of what the coach is supposed to look like or sound like. But I agree, Luke. Those press conferences did not fill me with any sort of confidence that this will get turned around. That's what I was hoping. I was hoping to hear some things that gave me some confidence and hope that was a one-off. Because, see, to me, that's the real question. Is what happened in Tallahassee a one-off?
Yeah.
The night that Bruce Springsteen, out of 200 nights on his tour, one night he had a little laryngitis and didn't sound very good. That's going to happen if he plays 200 times. Was that a one-off, or was it systemic? Like, are we going to continue to see that level of play all year or at times this year? That's the question. Based on what we saw last year, it's fair to say, duh, it's systemic. They did this last year. That's fair. That's fair. But I do want to say, I'm not asking for patience. I'm not saying everybody's crazy. Nothing like that. What I'm just saying is I need to see, me speaking for myself, I need to see Kalen DeBoer coach more than 14 games before I render a lifetime verdict here. I need a larger sample size. Some of you may not. Some of you may have seen the first half of Western Kentucky last year and you made up your mind forever. I just don't work that way. I need to see more before I have some sort of verdict to use for my last job. So I'm very concerned and worried based on what I saw in Tallahassee, no doubt. But hey, let's prove that it was a one-off. That starts this week.
Yeah, that is going to be very important to prove this is a one-off. And I think the immediate reaction to somebody having heard you say that would be, we're 5-5 in the last 10, so it's clearly not a one-off.
Right.
Which, again, fair. The other thing that was said at the press conference yesterday was we were timid. Well, no bleep. I mean, God
not a good
knows.
trait. Not a good trait for ball.
Just, I don't necessarily need you to come out and say that. I would have liked for you to say we failed miserably. I would prefer that. Like, take the ownership of that. The playing timid is almost, it's this close to sounding like an excuse. I don't know why. I don't know why that particular word triggered me. I can't put my finger on it, but I'm just telling you, it wasn't what I want to hear. Now, I'll say this too.
The opposite word of what you want to hear. You want to hear, we were so aggressive and hyped up, we messed up our assignments because we were too rizzed up, or whatever the kids say. You'd rather hear that than timid. Timid never works. Timid never works in this sport. Never once is timid going to work on the football field, especially in Power 4 football.
Our Riz was turned up to 11. Yeah, that would have been fine.
I mean, say that. Say, God, they were so geeked up to play. They their minds went blank. Oh, okay. I mean, I'd rather hear that than they were timid.
Well, the other thing about that, though, is, and I think I said it on a previous pod here recently, it's hard to say. We've done a lot of pods here recently, but you cannot fake being a hard ass. If DeBoer or Grubb had come in and like banging their fist and doing all that, not only would the players see through it, we'd see through it.
Yeah, agreed. That would have been the worst reaction of all of it.
So again, I can live with, hey, he didn't come out and just, all fire and brimstone and full of bluster. I can do all that. Yeah. But it was almost like, hey, everybody chill, kind of West Coast vibe. No. See, that's what he hasn't gotten yet. Yeah. There is no chill right now.
And let me bring up that because you brought, here's one point. There is an overreaction out there. There is an overreaction. And I'll give you an example of that. I'm sure a lot of people listening have seen the Emmanuel Acho tape, and me and Luke, I think we referenced it yesterday. The Acho tape where he's showing to name names, Bray Hubbard, I think Sab is the other. He's showing them jogging and not playing with full effort, and he goes nuts. He's going on and on and on. And what he says loudly and emphatically, he's like, Saban would yank scholarships. That's what I mean about the overreaction. No, he wouldn't have. No, he wouldn't have. I've watched Nick Saban every day of my life for 17 years. I don't know everything about that program, but I know quite a bit. I know more about what happens to Alabama than Acho does. No, he wouldn't have. Saban wouldn't have yanked anyone's scholarship. Would he have been upset? Would he have thrown his headset? Would there have been, as he calls it, an ass chewing? Would there have been potential ramifications like, hey, next week you're not going to play. I'm going to tell the world you have a hamstring problem, but the fact of it is you got a me problem, so you're not going to play. He might have done all those things, but Saban didn't yank scholarships because he was mad over the way a player played on the field. That did not happen. Did he bench guys? Did he yell at guys? Did he scream at guys? Yeah. But don't just loudly tell the world DeBoer's not doing his job because he's not yanking scholarships like Nick Saban would have, because that is not what Nick Saban would have done.
Yeah, I'm with you on that for sure. The other thing that has been very popular is comparisons to 2010. Let me say this as a guy who went to the UCLA game in 2010.
2000.
Did I say 2000? I said 2010. Yeah. I don't know why. Yeah. That was stupid. I'm sorry. I wish I could edit this. I meant 2000. I went to the UCLA game in 2000.
Yeah, 25 years ago.
Not only did I go to it, a friend of mine punched a UCLA fan dead in the face and dang near killed him, and went to
the news there is that UCLA has a fan.
Yeah, he went to the Rose Bowl jail temporarily, and then went to like some other jail. I don't know if it's I can't remember what jail it was, Pasadena, Beverly Hills, somewhere in there.
Alcatraz.
And I remember when it was a nice one, because I remember when we picked my friend up, we were all just like depressed and sad, and we got our butts beat, and it was horrible and it was terrible. And that butt whooping was worse than this one, by the way. There's no question.
It was embarrassing, which is the word that we used Saturday night.
It was terrible, but the UCLA butt whooping was worse than the FSU butt whooping to me. And what made it even worse was when we picked my friend up, he said, y'all, that's the nicest jail I've ever been in. He said, I ate a steak last night. I was like, man, why don't you shut up? So, anyway, I don't think.
No wonder so many people in California commit crimes, as they're saying. Serving a steak up in there.
Let's not just yet say this is 2002. Let's not do that. No. Let's not do that yet. It's
I don't think it's going to be like that. I really don't.
Let's give it a minute. U2 made Vertigo. That was a bad song, but
really, you don't like Vertigo?
Not really. In fact, I was trying to look up and find an artist and that's why I'm looking over at this other screen. I was trying to find a good artist that did a bad song, and I was like,
well, "That's the only like Vertigo." I could probably think of a U2 song I don't like, but I like Vertigo. Sorry, maybe I'm the only one. They play it in their show.
I'm seeing some other songs that are like they named Elvis Presley sang a song called Confidence, which I've never heard of. But
Okay.
so maybe that's a better example. Elvis Presley did Confidence. And God, he looks just like me too. Elvis Presley.
Elvis, he does. Yeah, he does.
Much. Well, I mean, I look
You
like
get
him.
that all the you get that all the time.
I get that a lot. And now that I've gotten fatter, and
I get the
death,
Elvis that was. I
get
get the Elvis that was found on the toilet. Like you look just like the Elvis that was found on the toilet in Las Vegas.
That's what I've always said. But I hope I look like the young Elvis, not the one that was found on the toilet. But anywho, I'm going to hold off. Alabama 2010 equals 2010 again. 2000 equals Alabama 2025. I mean, it'd be the 25-year anniversary, I guess. But I'm going to hold off on that for now. And I think what we should do now, let's go ahead and you and I will move forward.
Yep.
We're not going to look back at this for a little bit. Maybe this will be a stepping stone.
I am going to rewatch the game today, but I'm not going to talk about it.
God bless you, my son. Want to talk a little Supply House now. One of our great sponsors. Appreciate them so much. When the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with Supply House. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. If you need parts fast for a project, Supply House has next-day delivery. Talk about a game changer. The part finder tools and 3D schematics can save you hours on jobs where every detail matters. Join the free Trademaster program today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and a dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use promo code SHCollege5, SHCollege5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com, where you got real people and you got real service with Supply House. Okay. Now we're going to talk about one of our favorite suppliers that everybody loves, and that's Rougiette. If you want to be Rougiette ready, guys, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rougiette Ready. Rougiette Ready is a next-gen prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. Unlike the usual pills that can take up hours, man. Rougiette's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast, on average in 15 minutes. Effects can last up to 36 hours. How about that for a Labor Day weekend? So you can stay confident and in control when the moment is right. If traditional options haven't worked, Rougiette might be the answer. Over 150,000 men have already made the switch, so why not you? Head to Rougiette.com. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnCollege and use code LockedOnCollege for 15% off today. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Please visit the Rougiette website for full safety information. That's Rougiette Ready, a Jimmy Stein guarantee. Although I'm not sure even Jimmy Stein could have helped some of our fans this past weekend.
I don't know about. I mean, I love that product. Certainly, big fan of that product. But I don't know about the Jimmy Stein guarantee on that one. That sounds a little awkward.
I mean,
don't get mad at me. I mean, don't ever get upset at me over something related to that. I don't think. I got at least I got one. That might be upset with me over things like that, but not the listening audience. That's just.
Sometimes you think about baseball. Sometimes you think about Jimmy Stein. It's people, it's different strokes, different folks, literally.
Oof.
Okay. Look, I look forward to the college football season from the end of January until August.
Never a day that's not on our mind. Never a day.
I don't want to spend this season dwelling on this loss anymore. I'm going to, it has bothered me because I can't even watch, even though we had some very few highlights, we had some highlights, and I can't even watch them because it just makes me sick to my stomach thinking about the overall big picture of FSU. So I'm choosing right now to put that game in the rearview mirror. I hope the team has, and I hope we move forward. I've already begun looking into some of Louisiana Monroe, who beat St. Francis 29-0. And St. Francis doesn't look like a powerhouse at all. So now Louisiana Monroe did put up like 311 yards rushing.
My third grade teacher was St. Francis.
Your third grade teacher was St. Francis?
Well, I'm sorry, Sister Francis.
Jesus, Francis. I was like,
she's a saint now. She has passed. She's a saint now. At the time,
well, you talk about Francis. A downer. You talk about going from Saban to DeBoer and being a downer. Man, going from St. Francis to Ms. McGillicuddy in fourth grade would really be a downer.
No, I just think when I saw that Monroe was playing St. Francis, I thought of Sister Francis, my third grade teacher, who's now not officially a saint, but I'm sure she is. I didn't know there was a St. Francis. Is what I'm saying. That's news to me. Are they NAI? Okay. Or are they FCS? Do we know?
I
Division
think they're FCS. Yeah, they have to be.
I seriously never heard of them.
Well, they've been to a thing in basketball occasionally.
Really?
I think. Yeah. Okay. Right.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
That's what I'm saying.
So Locked On has put out a power poll for the SEC. The Locked On SEC guys have done this, and they've got LSU at 1, Georgia 2, Texas 3, South Kakalaki 4, Tennessee 5, Auburn 6, Oklahoma 7, A&M 8, Bama 9, Florida 10, Missouri 11, Ole Miss 12, Arkansas, Vandy, Mississippi State, and Kentucky rounded out. My initial thought, if I'm being totally honest and transparent, Bama's too high.
Agreed. I would have them at 12. And I'm the unicorns and rainbow guy, but that's too high. There's no way Florida, Missouri, and Ole Miss performed Saturday lesser than Alabama. This is giving Alabama credit for things they have done in the past. If this is a ranking based on what we all saw Saturday, Alabama should be at best 12th.
Yeah, I agree. And here's the other thing. I think Missouri's low. I think Tennessee is a little high. I mean, I'm trying to wrap my head around why we're so fired up about Tennessee beating a Syracuse team that's not.
I've been high on Tennessee the whole offseason. I felt at one point only me and Josh Heupel were, but I thought Tennessee was impressive against Syracuse. I did watch some of that. Aguilar was very good. I like Tennessee mostly because of schedule. Now, I think Tennessee's ranked ahead of teams they would lose to on the road or in a neutral site.
I wonder, I wonder how things would be looking if Alabama opened up at North Carolina or neutral site Syracuse and Tennessee had played FSU or something like that.
That's a great point. And it's one of the reasons why I'm saying we're not going to talk about the game Saturday. We're going to talk about college football in general. There's an overreaction of week 1. There was an overreaction to Alabama in the sense of exactly what you're saying. If Alabama had opened against one of those teams you're talking about and they had won big and Ty Simpson had thrown for 400 yards against, Incarnate Word or something, we'd be beside ourselves about how good they look. But the fact of the matter is Alabama was tested. Alabama had a serious test. They failed it. They get an F. They failed it. But it was a serious test. Not everybody in the league faced a serious test, and there is some fool's gold in some of the outcomes as a result. And meanwhile, Manning's getting killed, and I get it because all the hype. By the way, the kid didn't hype himself. He doesn't.
You hyped him.
I did. Manning's getting killed. I did, and I admit that. What I'm saying is Arch Manning played the toughest opponent in the toughest stadium he'll play in all year. He faced the biggest test of the whole year was right out of the gate. If he'd have thrown for 400 yards against Incarnate Word, imagine the height then. Oh. But he faced the toughest test that he faced all year long. He failed it. And I think he'd tell you that. But you haven't seen the end of Arch Manning. And I don't think you've seen the end of Alabama in 2025. I don't think so. And we're going to find out some Saturday when people say, well, you are playing one of these cupcakes this weekend. How are you going to know? Effort, intensity. are they playing with some level of pride, or do they go through the motions against an outman opponent? If this team shows up and goes through the motions and wins by 10 or 14 against a team that they should beat by 37 points, according to Las Vegas, if they win by a significantly lower figure, oof, that is a bad 2000 season.
That would be bad.
Level sign, because that's what the 2000 team did. By the way, the week after that UCLA game, I think they got shut out by Southern Miss the next week.
Actually, I think we won the next week and then got shut out by Southern Miss. I'll go back and look at it. I'm almost positive.
You know that Southern Miss quarterback was? You know that Southern Miss quarterback was, I think?
Oh, was it the kid from Alabama, right?
Saraland head coach, Jeff Kelly.
That's right. But Jeff Kelly played at like Oxford or something?
Citronelle down here in this part of the country.
Yep. All right. So, yeah, if Alabama comes out, look, and here's the thing: if they come out and blow out UL Monroe, it's not going to be that. I mean, the first thing a lot of people are going to do is go, "Where was that last week?" I totally get it. I get it, but I want to try and be optimistic here and say, at least give them credit for improving. If they do blow them out, if they cover the spread, if they win by 14, 17 points and it's just a walkthrough, I'll be on board. Then I'll be like, oh my God, this is worse than I thought, which I thought is as bad as he could get this week.
Yeah, just like we said, hey, last week overall, that was an F. This week against Monroe, if they win by more than 37, play hard, play aggressive, win more by 37, I'll be here Sunday going, today they get an A. Now, does this mean everything's fixed and y'all can go ahead and remake those reservations y'all had made in Miami for the national championship? No, I'm not going to say anything like that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to grade them based on that performance. And to get an A against Monroe, play hard, play aggressive, play well, pretty much mistake-free, cover that 37 number. If you do that, we'll be here Saturday night post-game going, well, last week was an F, this was an A.
Let's talk a little FanDuel. They're the sponsor of this particular episode. The NFL season is almost here. It's here Thursday. And FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if that bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. That's incredible. I mean, it's just awesome. I love using FanDuel because it fits however you like to bet. Player props, building a same-game parlay, or even jumping in on live action as it unfolds. So are you ready to play? You should be with FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. And if it wins, you get 300 smacks. All right, talk about awesome. Now, game time. College football is back, although you could have fooled me. And I couldn't be more excited. The tailgates, the rivalries, the energy in the stands, there's nothing like it. But let's be real. Actually getting tickets can feel like more of a battle than the game itself. Endless queues, hidden fees, prices jumping at checkout, all that crap. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices with no surprise fees. Who wants those? What you see is what you pay with Game Time. I pulled up Game Time, and in just a couple of taps, I saw amazing deals. I'm talking about your favorite college football games as low as 25 smacks. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE, all one word, LOCKEDONCOLLEGE, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. And then you can thank me and Jimmy Stein with his guarantees later on. Okay. Where would you say we are with recruiting right now? Are you worried at all that performance and the reaction to said performance is going to affect recruiting? The class is pretty much set. Yep. There could be a couple of guys, and I'm sure Alabama will keep pursuing Tank Jones and whatever. But does the performance Saturday, do you think that affects recruiting?
I think in the old days I would have said yes. in the old days, I would have said I would worry. And I am going to worry very little. I am going to worry a little bit over, I'm sure everyone that came in second for the kids that are committed to us have now called those kids and said, are you really going to go to Alabama? They're about to fire their coach. So there's going to be that negative recruiting that happens whenever, the house of cards falls. So I'm a little worried about that, but not really, because in this new age, and I've been saying this, by the way, about Auburn, but I'm also saying about Alabama. In this new age, the rev share deals and the NIL deals are sort of locked in, and kids know, hey, I'm going to sign here, and this is what I'm going to make. I think most kids aren't going to mess with that. I mean, they've already kind of locked in. Not by locked in, I don't mean signed. I don't mean it's official. I'm just saying that once the financial deals are in place and the handshake, or whatever, I don't think that the new system is conducive to flips. And that's what I was saying about when Auburn was like, oh, well, we're going to win a few games and everybody's going to flip to us. I'm like, no, that's not going to happen, because in this new age, everyone's already got financial deals in place. It's not like the old days. So I do think there will be flips. There will be flips, but not like the old days. So no, I'm not too worried about that yet. But there is negative recruiting going on there. I can promise everybody listening that's happening, that whoever came in second for Maury Johnson or Jameer Matthews is on the phone going, that program you signed with is going to have a coaching change. You ought to look around. They're getting those calls because college football is brutal that way.
Yeah. And I would understand it. And if somebody else were falling apart at the seams, I would say, hey, I hope Alabama's calling so-and-so who's committed there.
There's an uncommitted kid coming this weekend. I mean, not uncommitted. I'm sorry. He's a 26th kid committed to Georgia, defensive lineman. Yeah. Everybody gets excited about those. He's weirdly lowly ranked, which is strange. A kid ranked that low, committed to Georgia, with Alabama maybe working to flip him. That doesn't sound like the 700th best player in the country to me. Things really have.
He won't end up that way.
Things really have gone in the toilet when Alabama and Georgia are fighting tooth and nail over the 700th best player. So I haven't watched a tape yet. I'm anxious to see him, and I think there's probably, we're going to find an interesting recruiting story going on here. But anyway, Carter Howard, I think is his name. He's coming in. I might have butchered that. First I heard of him this week in terms of Alabama.
No, I saw the same thing.
Yeah, and I'm interested in this. So recruiting's still happening. Courtney Morgan and his staff, job's a little harder. I want you to remember, when the fans are out there saying negative things, and heck, me and Luke are here on the show saying negative things. How could you not? But just remember that while you're ranting about being upset, there are kids we want to recruit to this program that are hearing that stuff. So just remember that.
No, again, and it is it's a tightrope, because I want to be honest. I mean, I'm on to Jimmy. I mean, I don't mean this as like Luke's some famous dude, because I'm not.
You're Elvis. You're Elvis.
Hey,
God, like the young Elvis, even.
The Tide needs some help. But
oof. Stick to your Orgeron. I think you did pretty
got
good.
A suspicious mind about. I can't do it. Sorry.
Good.
I'm sorry. It got worse.
Goodness.
But anyway, what I'm saying is I'm on too many shows and podcasts and things where, like, I can't just go and not be honest.
Yeah.
Like tomorrow I'm going to be on Doug Amos's show in Montgomery. I promise you, like, I'm going to be as honest as I can be. I went on the SEC squad show with a literal sack on my head because I was so embarrassed. And there were some people that at the very first of that show were live reacting or commenting and saying, yeah, dude. Yeah. Look at you, jackass. You picked Alabama to win 34-17. It was almost the direct opposite. And I was like, yep, I screwed up.
We almost nailed the score.
And
we almost nailed the score.
Once you own it, people are like, okay, that's fair. And
I've owned it to the point I'm not changing my prediction. Now, obviously, my Florida State prediction was wrong. If you ask me right now, what's Alabama's record? I'm going to say 10-2 because that's what I predicted all summer. And I'm not changing it yet. Am I worried about that not being right? Of course. Of course.
I'm not changing my prediction yet either,
I'm not changing
but
it.
I'm certainly much more apt to do it.
And how about the point, neither me nor you, because somebody was on Twitter about, oh, you'll win the national championship. Neither me nor Luke this summer said this Alabama team win the national championship. In fact, we didn't. We even bought Jake Crane on the show because he predicted that Alabama win. Me and Luke, the Alabama guys, we didn't. I said 10-2 making the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I didn't even say we'd win the SEC. I had Texas doing that. It's funny that, I had Texas and Alabama in the SEC championship. It's the only two teams that lost this weekend. It's also the only two teams that played at Ohio State and at Florida State.
Yeah.
And by the way, what if FSU is really good? I mean, I don't rule that out. What if they're really good? They got 2 easy wins coming up, I think, for them.
Yep.
Then they host Miami.
I'm
not right now as we sit here. I'm not sure which way I'd pick that game. If it was at Miami, I would pick Miami.
100%.
But in Tallahassee, I'm not so sure.
No, I'm with you. And hey, by the way, Alabama fans, you want Florida State to be good.
You do.
You want them to win the ACC.
You do. You
do.
Well, we want to be here in November going, remember all that stuff back in week 1? Because right now we're ranked, number 4, and we're 9-1, and that Florida State team's undefeated and ranked number 1. Remember that? I mean, that's what we want to happen. Is that going to happen? Probably not, but that's what we should want to happen.
All right, that's going to do it for today's pod. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Until then, roll tide, everybody.
Roll tide.